Welcome. My name is Kathy Shea, and I'm the Frederick County Senior Services Division Director. Today, I'm hosting a Medicare Part D workshop with Ellie Williams, who is the coordinator for the State Health Insurance Assistance Program. Ellie has worked for the Department of Aging for a decade and specializes in Medicare information and assistance. She often travels throughout the county providing Medicare workshops. Today, we're recording this session so that Frederick County residents can access this vital information as their schedule permits via the website frederickcountymd.gov. Well, welcome, Ellie. Today, Medicare Part D.
Thank you. Medicare Part D is actually the prescription part of Medicare. This helps cover the cost of your prescription medications. It is run by private insurance companies approved and under contract with Medicare. These are also provided, prescription drug coverage may also be provided by some of the Advantage plans. You must have both Medicare Part A and or B, and you must live in the service plan area. A lot of folks may not need a Medicare Part D prescription plan if they have retirement benefits that include prescription coverage. If you're not sure about this, it's always best to check with us or Medicare, 1-800-MEDICARE or Medicare.gov to find out the specifics on that. Plans must include a different range of medications, and there are certain medications that they do not cover. A lot of your weight loss drugs and barbiturates are not covered by Medicare Part D plans. They do cover, the coverage does vary by plan. The plans can actually manage access to your coverage through their formularies, or otherwise known as the list of covered drugs. There's different types of approvals that may be needed. Prior authorization may be needed by your doctor to obtain a medication. They may want you to go through what's called step therapy, where you try a different type of medication before you are allowed to be provided with the particular medication that you're interested in. For instance, if there's a generic available and you were prescribed the brand name, most companies would want you to try the generic medication before you actually get the brand name medication. There's also what they call quantity limits, and this actually limits the amount of medication that you can get in a certain period of time. You have up to 3 months after your 65th birthday to enroll in Medicare Part D, or 63 days after your creditable drug coverage ends. For example, if you had drug coverage through an employer and you are no longer working for that employer and you're not going to take any benefits with you, you do actually have 63 days from the last date of coverage before you can enroll without a late enrollment penalty. If you don't enroll when you're first eligible to enroll, you may have to actually wait till open enrollment, which is every October 15th through December 7th to enroll. And at that time, your coverage will not begin. You will have to actually wait until January of the following year before your coverage actually begins. There are certain circumstances where beneficiaries may qualify for what we call a special enrollment period, which would allow them to enroll in a plan outside of open enrollment, but there's just a limited number. If you move, if you lose coverage, there's a couple different programs that will help you have a special enrollment period. But other than that, you do have specific times when you can enroll in your prescription drug coverage. You can enroll in a drug plan by calling the plan itself, or you can visit Medicare.gov, or you can actually go to the prescription plan's website directly. You can also call 1-800-MEDICARE to enroll in drug coverage. The folks at the Senior Services Division do also assist with helping you choose and enroll in drug plans as well. The costs may vary by plan. Most folks will have a monthly premium, deductible, and copays. The amounts that you pay every year will change. The numbers that I'm using right now are for the calendar year of 2018. You'll pay approximately 40% of the full price of the name brand drugs and approximately 51% of the cost when you go into what's called the donut hole. Now, this is one of those real tricky areas that I want to go into a little bit more in depth to explain to you. When you first, at the beginning of the year, these plans run on a calendar year, and at the beginning of the year, they start a total for you, the beneficiary. And this total, when reached, you will go into what's called the donut hole or the gap in coverage, and this is when your prices can go up significantly. And that threshold this year is $3,750. So let me give you an example. If you go to the pharmacy and your medication costs $100 and you pay $25 for it and the plan pays $75 towards your medication, that $100 will go towards that $3,750, which is the donut hole threshold. You will actually stay in the donut hole until you have reached the catastrophic phase, which is $5,000. And during that time, your costs will drop significantly. You will pay approximately 5% of the cost, the full cost of your medications while you're in the catastrophic phase. Now, I will tell you, not all folks go into the donut hole every year. There are some folks that never go into the donut hole. Unfortunately, there's folks that always go in the donut hole. But this is strictly based on the amount that is paid for the medication, the retail cost of the medication, what you pay, what the plan pays. And this does get a bit tricky, and as we get closer to 2020, the donut hole is actually supposed to close, and we have watched the amounts that you pay out of pocket go down every year, and it's going to continue in 2019. And so that actually wraps up Medicare D. This one is very complex. All of Medicare is very complex, but this one is actually even a little more complex. And you may need actual assistance, someone to sit down with you to go through these when making your decision for the first time. And we do offer that service at the Senior Services Division. And that's the Medicare Part D today.
Well, I still have a few more clarifying questions for you. So if I have Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage, is that once and done? Do I have to come in once a year? And if I do, why is that necessary? So I need a little bit more information.
Well, when you first enroll in Medicare Part D, that is actually for the specific calendar year that you're enrolling. I will tell you, these plans change every single year. And even if your medications or you and your situation does not change, you should review your plan every year. When Medicare Part D first started in 2006, there were 66 plans. We're down to 20. Every year, plans phase out, new plans phase in. Not to mention the plan that you may be enrolled in, they'll change their premium, they'll change their formulary. So it's always in your best interest when you're talking about the cost of your coverage to review your choices and options every year. And it's certainly something that once you've figured it out, even if you don't need help, I encourage you to do it on your own every year. But it is a service that we offer during open enrollment every single year as well.
So now what are the open enrollment dates? Because that's really important here.
It's every year, October 15th through December 7th.
Okay. One last question. So if I have prescription drug coverage from an employer or former employer or from the VA, for instance, am I required to enroll in Medicare Part D? That's
a really good question, one that we get asked often. If you have creditable drug coverage, and creditable drug coverage could be through the VA, it could be attached to retirement benefits. If you have that type of coverage, you are not required to enroll in Medicare Part D. And if for any reason in the future you decide you need to, you would not experience any kind of late enrollment penalty because you have had creditable drug coverage. Or if your drug coverage, your retirement drug coverage would end through no fault of your own, that will also give you a special enrollment period where you would not experience any type of late enrollment penalty.
Great. Thank you, Ellie. This has been so helpful and so informative. I appreciate your time with us today. Thank you. Well, if you find yourself needing additional information, please feel free to take a look at our other Medicare workshop options with our videos. And as always, you are more than welcome to contact the Senior Services Division at 301-600-1605. Thank you so much.